ahead and hit our record button because we are going to be recording our presentation. So if you don't feel like being recorded, you can go ahead and turn off your camera. That's fine. But we'll go ahead and start today for our Wellness Wednesday. Thank you all for coming. Today's focus is going to be on the conditions that can lead to a fall. Now, there's multiple different conditions, okay? So we are going to go ahead and we have our guest speaker today of Dr. Bob. So we're going to go ahead and have him speak a little bit with us today as well. Little background on me. I have been with Healthy Aging now since November. I am currently in school at Stanislaus State pursuing physical therapy. That's my end goal. So I'm working towards that. And yeah, that's just a little bit about me. So we'll go ahead and jump on in. So this meeting is going to be recorded, okay? We're going to go ahead and post it on our YouTube channel, our website, and Facebook page. So if you feel uncomfortable being recorded, please, again, feel free to go ahead and turn off that camera. If you would like to watch this recording or any other recordings from Wellness Wednesday from the past year or so, we have recordings on YouTube. You can type in Wellness Wednesday in the month, and it kind of makes it easier to see them. They all have the same photo in the front too, so they're kind of uniform. So you'll know it when you see it. It's great to go back and watch videos about some good information, right? So this is done by Healthy Aging Association, which is a nonprofit organization. Our mission is to help older Americans live longer, healthier, more independent lives by promoting increased physical activity and sound health and nutrition practices. Okay, so our overall goal is to keep you independent, keep you from falling, increase that physical activity, and let's just keep good overall health. So we'll start today with a little bit of some statistics. About 36 million falls are reported yearly among older adults. This can be around 32,000 deaths per year related to a fall. Okay, it's pretty big numbers. And 1 out of 5 falls does lead to a cause of an injury. Every year, at least 300,000 older adults are hospitalized for hip fractures, and more than 95% of those hip fractures are due to a fall. Big number, right? 95% of hip fractures that happen are because of some sort of a fall that occurred. That's something that we can prevent, right? We would like to prevent. Women tend to fall more frequently than men, and they account for three quarters of all hip fractures. Okay, just a couple of statistics for you. Okay, so for today. So what are some of these conditions that we're going to be talking about, right? You might be asking yourself this. We're going to be talking about just overall weakness throughout the body, vitamin D and vitamin D deficiency, difficulties walking and balancing, different medications that can be related to falls, vision problems, foot pain and improper footwear, which leads to foot pain, discomfort walking, which might limit your activity, okay? General home hazards, which we do talk about with every one of these classes, essentially. And we're going to talk about diseases, too, that kind of contribute to falls and increase your risk for falling, okay? So jumping into our first one, okay? So for weakness, weakness is going to lead to instability. Okay, you're not going to feel as confident and as strong, right? It's going to lead to an increased risk of falling. It does go increase to the difficulty of recovering from a fall. So if you fall and you have an injury and you're weak, it kind of you won't recover as quickly as if you were being active and everything, right? It can lead to an increased fear of falling or your confidence, like I was describing earlier, which in turn does lead to a decrease in activity. Okay. Right. Our next one. So vitamin D. Does anybody out there feel like they get a regular good, their vitamin D levels are in good shape? Does anybody feel that way? Maybe Dr. Bob. Okay. All right. So vitamin D deficiency can be pretty common, right? It can lead to some bone density loss, which means that if you fall or anything like that, you can have bone fractures more easily, right? You can be more susceptible to breaking or hurting yourself or having a fracture of some sort, and can also lead to a decrease in your overall stability. And vitamin D, I believe, does have a little bit of an effect on your immune system and stuff too, right? So that's all I really have for vitamin D, unless Dr. Bob, do you have anything to add for this slide or no?
No, I think it's something that in terms of treatment, using vitamin D for treatment, it is yet to be proven that vitamin D supplements reduce fractures.
Oh,
Interesting.
really? Interesting.
That would take a longer study, a more expensive study. We can certainly say that a lot of people do not have optimal vitamin D levels, but there's many different forms of vitamin D in the body. You know, it's one of those.
Okay.
So we're still searching for the right answer. So one physician could differ in vitamin D recommendations from another physician, just because there are different guidelines out there for us from different groups.
Yeah.
But in general, the good news is if you have light skin, you only need 8 minutes of sun exposure a day for part of your body. You know, just your arms and face for 8 minutes is enough. So it's not a difficult thing to get that without a lot of sunblock on, by the way. And ultraviolet B is what you really need.
Okay.
Ultraviolet B is blocked by clear glass, but ultraviolet A isn't, which is the ultraviolet A is more damaging type.
Oh, okay.
Turns out sitting in your window, you know, exposing your body to the sun isn't helpful for vitamin D.
It's gonna do more damage than good, right?
Actually have to be outside.
Oh,
interestingly.
wow. Didn't know that. That's good.
Some interesting, you know, specifics about that. I think in general, we recommend, you know, checking your vitamin D level. And if you're really low, your level will be under a level of 20 or under, because they're quite low. And everyone agrees it's probably good to get treatment at that level. Many people are 20 to 30, which is sort of borderline, and there's a lot of disagreement about what to do at that level. So
okay,
good question.
Great, thank you. That's great adding on to it. I thought it'd be a good one. You're gonna have more information for vitamin D than I probably would, so I think that's great. Thank you, Dr. Bob. For our next slide, is there anybody, if you would like to speak up, that'd be great. Does anybody here use an assistive device? Do they have an assistive device that they use? No? Okay, well, maybe somebody you know, or if eventually you do need an assistive device, or if you use one you just don't feel like speaking up, which is fine. You know, your assistive device is a great tool that you should use. It could save your life. It can prevent you from having a fall, which down the road can lead to some really bigger complications from an injury. It's nothing to be ashamed of or embarrassed about with using an assistive device, okay? It can be caused by different factors because of weakness. You can have arthritis, you can have foot pain, or like your walking mechanics aren't as good as they used to be, where these assistive devices can really help through all that, okay? It can really be the difference between having a fall and not when you're using it correctly, okay? So you don't really want to be putting all of your weight onto these things too. You kind of want to talk to your physician, of course, about how to use it correctly, okay? To make sure you're using it the right way, okay? I can't emphasize this enough. If you have the assistive devices like a cane or a walker, please use them. And I know, Dr. Bob, you had a place, I had it written down in my office, so of course I forgot it. There's a place where people can get them for kind of a knocked off price if they need to, right?
Actually, for free. It's Society for Disabilities.
That's what it is.
Society for Disabilities. It's downtown Modesto.
Okay. Societies for Disabilities.
They're also a good place to donate your used equipment that's still usable.
Very good. That is good to know, right? So if you have something, or if you have a friend or a neighbor, or if you need something, there's a place, Societies for Disabilities over in Modesto, that you can get some stuff for free. So that way you don't have to worry about paying out of pocket. Those things can add up a little bit. Okay, so then our next topic will be about vision. So vision problems are a big thing when it comes to falls and stuff. Okay, so your limited vision can overall just lead to a fall, and getting your vision checked annually is key into making sure that you're keeping up to date. You have the right prescriptions for your glasses. Um, if you can't see where you're going, then you're pretty highly going to trip over something. Okay. Lighting your way is a big help too for those late night trips to the restroom, or if you're getting a snack in the kitchen or something and you can't see where you're going. Just a little step or a little cord or a pet. I know I say this so often, but at night when I get up to go to the bathroom or to get a drink of water, my wife's cat is just, for some reason, I think he tries to trip me. He's always lurking around, and he's a dark cat. So pets too, just being really mindful and having those lights or night lights are a great way to prevent this too. But I think having your vision checked overall is a great way to ensure that you're being safe. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to our next slide. Proper footwear. This is a big one. Okay. Your proper footwear should really be shoes that are either those Velcro or tied shoes with laces where they close around your ankle at least. Okay. They shouldn't be able to slide right off. They should be supporting your foot, supporting your ankle. They're going to help not lead to more foot pain if you're having foot issues. And then another point I added was just to really avoid walking around your home in just socks. For my program, Dignity at Home Fall Prevention Program, it's a big thing I like to emphasize for people. Walking around just in socks is can be pretty slippery, and it only takes one quick slip to have a fall. So I really advise to not wear just socks in the home. Okay. Try to avoid slippers. The ones people get slippers and then they press down on the backs of them to slip on and off. And those always get kicked around, and they can lead to a fall. I had a client who used his slippers in that exact way. Did an assessment with him and advised him not to do that, and it recommended wearing his closed shoes. 2 days later, he had a fall due to his slippers. His daughter had called me and told me that he did slip and fall because of his slippers. He wasn't injured, thankfully, but he did have a fall, which scared him, and now he wears his shoes every day. Even if he's just in the house, he puts on his sneakers and ties them up and uses the proper footwear, and that, a lot of this can be just prevented, which is the big thing, right? So wearing proper footwear is a good one. Okay, then we'll go ahead and move to our next one, which overall is just keep moving, right? Staying active, trying to keep moving around. As we all age, most of us are losing some coordination, flexibility, and our balance. And this does happen through inactivity and leads to higher probability of you having a fall, right? So don't let things like improper footwear, which you can fix, slow you down, right? And research does show that just 30 minutes a day for a few days a week of activity, of walking or something like that at a moderate pace, like a moderate pace is fine, is going to help to decrease your risk of falling. Okay, so it's really good it's something you can do, right? If you're able to get up and move around, even if you're using that walker or that cane, just moving around, keep staying active, trying to walk and move around. And we have classes and everything from us that I will talk about more towards the end. Okay, so there are some really great incentive fitness classes that we do have that we like to add. Okay, And we have a couple more people that just popped into our room. So hi there, Aaron and Naomi. I hope you all are doing well. We are underway with our presentation. So we were just talking about a couple of different things that can lead to a fall, right? So we were talking about using assistive devices, your vision getting checked, making sure you have proper footwear, which I know you two have heard of before. So that's good. And with further ado, now I'll hand off to Dr. Bob.
Thank you, Sean. Hey, can you enlarge the screen so the slides fill the entire screen?
Oh, yes, I can, like a slideshow, right?
There is a way to do that. Yeah, there you go.
Better?
Great.
Okay.
That's very good. Yeah, and then people can minimize the other, if they want to, you can minimize the number of people that you're looking at on your screen so you can see the slides.
You can see that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
all right, how's that?
That's great.
Great.
So we're conditions that cause a fall. You know, I'm always in favor of prevention, and that's why I went into family medicine. So let's go to the next slide, Sean.
There we go.
Okay, thank you. So we talked about tripping hazards. So specifically, throw rugs are a big issue, and these are the rugs you put down, you know, in front of the sink, and they kind of slide around a little bit on the floor, and then in the middle of the night you trip on it and fall and break your hip. The same thing happens with pets underfoot. You know, a lot of people have little dogs or cats, and they're great companions, but if they're underfoot, particularly in low light conditions like early morning, late night, getting up and going to the bathroom, and the pet sleeping, you know, at the floor of your bed, those are all major fall risks. And I don't know how many patients I saw that slipped on something that was on the floor, including their little dog or cat. And then anything else on the floor, obviously, it just behooves us to get it over to the side of the room or under the bed or somewhere else besides the middle of the floor. And then just going to the bathroom in low light, again, usually you trip over something or you slip on something that's slippery. But again, another common issue. So we do recommend night lights illuminating the area that you walk to in the middle of the night if you go to the bathroom. And the stairs, a big, you know, again, number of people with broken bones from falls on stairs. Very occasionally somebody who died hitting their head on a stair fall. So we really recommend as much as possible to have handrails on stairs, including the stairs as you go out of your house, or the step down into the basement, the step down into the backyard. A lot of Modesto houses are built on foundations, and you have 2 steps to the ground level. So we recommend that there be handrails and get in the habit of using them. If you're over 65, use the handrails on stairs is a good way to prevent falls. And then ladders and step stools. I can't tell you how many people have fallen off of ladders or step stools or fallen out of trees among my patients over 60 and had bad injuries. So again, to be very, very cautious. It's good to have somebody actually holding the ladder to make sure it doesn't slip or move, which often happens when you get up to the top of the ladder. So good to think about those. Sean, next slide, please. And then medications often make people drowsy and off balance. Now, these are common medicines. So you're thinking about antihistamines, and these are usually taken for allergies. So Benadryl, the generic name is diphenhydramine. You can get a variety of things. It'll say, you know, allergy pill. Sometimes a similar product is in sleeping pills. And these are well shown to keep people somewhat sedated, keep you a little drowsy, make your balance worse, make your thinking worse for up to 24 hours after we take them. And yet, because Benadryl was so commonly used back when we were parents and when we were younger, a lot of us still take it. So we really recommend some of the old time allergy pills. Chlortrimeton is another one that you avoid taking these because of the persistent effect of making you a little drowsy, sedated. Excuse me. The narcotics also are sedating. Most people don't realize how sedating, particularly if they take them regularly. Hydrocodone, very potent narcotic. Again, sometimes you have to use it like after surgery. I had a knee surgery, and certainly for 10 nights I took it because I couldn't sleep otherwise. There was so much aching. But you have to be very careful about using it. And we recommend hydrocodones. The length of time it helps pain is probably 6 hours, but it can help, it can make you somewhat drowsy for hours after that. Excuse me. Similarly, Robitussin by itself is not sedating, but many of us buy a cough medicine, we call it Robitussin, maybe Robitussin AC, for instance, and that has another medicine in it that is sedating, a cough medicine that's sedating. So many cough medicines are sedating. And again, that means you feel a little bit drowsy and you just slip a lot easier and fall. Also sleep medicines. Many people have sleeping issues. And nowadays, you can go online, or if you don't go on the computer, you can have a friend or family member get on the line and look up an app that you can put on your smartphone. So you can put apps on your smartphone. You can look up advice about how to sleep better. The apps contain ways to kind of relax, and often they contain things like white noise or waterfall noise or rain noise, things that we find relaxing. And most people really should not need sleep medicines, frankly. If you really have a major issue, maybe seeing a psychologist about insomnia, and ask them about methods to help you relax better. Oh, and the last thing about getting better sleep is I strongly recommend that you not watch the news after dinner. So after dinner news, particularly that bedtime news, 10 o'clock news, 11 o'clock news, is is made to excite you, to get you upset about all the bad things happening in the world. And that means you can't sleep. So I don't know how many people I told about that, and they actually did better sleeping by turning off the TV. And then depression, we have medications that are effective, like trazodone and Elavil. We usually recommend taking those at night, and sometimes they help for sleep, but you can be drowsy the next morning. So you really need to watch the dose on those and evaluate yourself how you're doing. Okay, Sean, let's ask for any questions. But if you have questions, you can unmute yourself and chime in. While we go to the next slide, Sean, please.
Yeah, of course. About the sleep aid stuff too, though, I actually use one of those apps, and it helps me a lot.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it has soundscapes, they're called, and I can play one. The one I use is a campfire next to a river or a creek, so I hear the water a little bit, and then I hear the crackling of the fire, and you hear kind of a little crickets, and I'm 15 minutes, I'm out every time. So such a good trick.
So that was called Soundscapes.
Yeah, so the app is called something different, but it's like a meditation app thing. And then there's a category for sleep you can go ahead and select. And then that one's going to go ahead and be 1 second. That one's going to go ahead and have soundscapes will be the oops, I hit your slide, sorry. Soundscapes are the ones that you use for the different sounds and the environments, and they have a bunch of different ones. They have rain falling on the roof.
Right. You really, I use one that has rainfall. I really find that very, if your mind's kind of going and you kind of restless, it's amazing how that can get your mind off of
it just gets you to like relax, it's like, I feel like if you go camping or something, it helps you sleep better because there's not as many distractions.
Right.
So I feel like those sounds put you in that kind of
Right. So turn
that
off the
situation.
TV, don't watch the nighttime news,
Yeah,
and yeah, soundscape out. That's great.
yeah,
Okay, so
okay,
next one, Sean.
yeah.
Causes of falls, just to alert you, not that we can really fix these conditions real well,
Mm,
but just to alert you, you are more likely to fall, and using a aid like a cane or a walker, particularly if the ground is uneven, it often is helpful. So Parkinson's
mhm,
disease, people get stiffer with that, not only shaking, but you actually get stiffer
mm,
and you fall more easily. It's harder to keep your balance. So, and again, Parkinson medications can be sedating. So then you have a double whammy. So always good to be cautious if you've been diagnosed, even with early Parkinson's disease, to be more cautious about falling. Strokes, same thing. We may recover from a stroke and get back to walking, but again, strokes do leave people with uh, often a little worse balance. So
mhm,
another case when you need to be consciously careful on going downstairs, going down the steps outside as you go exit your house, those kind of things. And joint replacements, hip replacements typically don't have any major problems with balance, but knee replacements do. So particularly knee replacements, it seems to affect the nerves that go down into the foot.
mhm,
You may not feel your legs quite as well, and therefore more chance of falling. Um, so good to be careful about that. Deconditioning after illness, we're thinking of, for instance, pneumonia. You might land in the hospital for 4 or 5 days. You're out of circulation for 3 weeks or so at home
yeah,
to recover from pneumonia,
mhm,
and then you go out for your first trip to the backyard to do some yard work, and all of a sudden you trip over a brick that you left in the middle of the
yeah.
sidewalk or something
Yeah,
you would have normally not done, but again, you're deconditioned. You don't have your reflexes get worse after you're deconditioned. So after illness or after a long time without doing your usual exercise. Dementia, obviously, even early Alzheimer's, there can be decrements in falling. Most people don't realize that dementia is not just about the brain, it's also about the thinking part of the brain. It's also about everything else in the brain also goes downhill.
mhm,
So that's why demented people tend to have a shuffling gait in some cases when they get worse, and do fall more easily. So if
mm,
you have a loved one at home with that issue, you really need to be very careful about your trip hazards. And then poor vision, Sean has already mentioned. And again, that's a problem like at night. You don't put your glasses on at night to go from your bed to the bathroom or to make that midnight run to the refrigerator, and maybe you don't see the stuff on the ground you normally would see with your glasses. So, that's something that you can remedy by getting a habit of putting your glasses on when you go walking in the middle of the night. Okay, next slide. So in health checkups, I just put this in because there's actually clues to your fall risk. Again, there's risk factors for heart attack and strokes, smoking, alcohol, family history, like I have of heart attacks,
mhm,
overweight. Um, the more we work on those kind of risk factors to help reduce heart attacks and strokes, the more we keep our brain healthy. Smoking, alcohol are bad for your brain.
yep,
Uh, and so, yeah, so and obesity leads to diabetes, heart attacks, everything. So by keeping ourselves more healthy as younger adults, and even at our age, over 65, we can help reduce falls.
mhm,
And then just being aware if you have risks for future strokes or heart attacks. If you've already had a heart attack, by definition, you have a risk. If you have peripheral artery disease, most people don't realize that that's the same kind of hardening of the arteries that causes strokes and heart attacks. So you want to take any of those diagnoses very seriously. Hypertension, atrial fibrillation are two of the most common causes of strokes, which increase our fall risk. So again, the best thing is to prevent having a stroke in terms of reducing your fall risk, right? And then diabetes is associated with a variety of other issues, including heart attacks and strokes. And then just knowing your numbers, blood pressure, weight, your blood sugar, which is the FBS A1C under prevention. Knowing your numbers lets you know how you're doing to live longer and feel better, which is what we at Healthy Aging are all about: live longer and feel better.
Yep.
And then to ask your doctor, and your pharmacist often is very helpful when you pick up your pills. Could you look at my med list and tell me, do any of these medications increase my chance for falls? Because again, you may not realize that that medicine is somewhat sedating, or can be sedating, or can make you dizzy. There's a lot of different side effects that you may not be aware of. You can just say, well, I'm older, I'm worried about falls. What do I have here that could be an issue? And if there is an issue, what can I do differently in terms of medications or other alternatives? Okay. Sean, is that my last slide?
I think you have one more.
One more.
Clues
Okay.
for fall risks. Yeah.
So again, this is we already went over deconditioning.
Yeah.
Sean called that weakness. I thought that was a
Yeah.
great slide. Strength, endurance, balance. Sometimes you have weight loss. Sometimes you've obviously lost muscle, particularly, for instance, if you had a long bout with COVID the last 2 years. So many people with COVID lost muscle because they just felt so bad for so long.
Yeah.
And that always affects your fall risk, always increases your chance of fall. So that's where our programs come in, because we're teaching people about making their balance better. We're teaching people about increasing your strength, and really helpful after deconditioning. So, and again, Sean's already mentioned canes and walkers. So I think this leads me to ask, I think this is a good time to stop and just let anybody who's signed on turn on your mic. So reach up, and if you're got a little red slash.
I did went ahead and muted everybody because there was a couple of background noise. So you can go ahead and unmute yourself if you have any questions that you would like to ask Dr. Bob. Now would be the time to ask. Okay, so any questions that you do have for him, just unmute yourself and go ahead and ask away. And don't forget, you can throw it into the chat as well if you need to. Whoops, I clicked that button.
Okay.
So any questions anybody has for Dr. Bob?
Okay, well, I appreciate everyone who joined us. Catherine, Joy, I see Aaron and Naomi, a couple other phone numbers, but yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah, and if anybody else thinks of a question they have later that they're not sure about for Dr. Bob or anything, you can go ahead and shoot me a call, or you can write me in the chat, and I can always email him after this too, just to ask him a quick question in case something pops up later related to falls or anything that you're concerned about. Okay,
thank you.
All righty, and then we'll go ahead and keep moving on. So there's a few things just for preventing future falls I wanted everyone to go ahead and see, and that's going to be, keeping up with that regular exercise. We talked about vision, getting those vision checks. Hearing checks are good too, right? Because with your ears, that does deal with balance. So having your hearing checked annually is a big factor as well. Checking your home for fall hazards. This is huge. This is like Dr. Bob was talking about. Throw rugs, your pets, making sure you have adequate light throughout your home. Making sure your surroundings in the home are okay. Your clutter is not as much clutter in your hallways if you have some clutter. Making sure your pathways are clear, okay? Assessing to see if you need assistive devices in your bathroom, in your bedroom, in the living room, okay? For those steps, Dr. Bob was talking about handrails, right? So thinking of things like that are really good to kind of be aware of, right? Use those assistive devices. I can't say it enough. When I worked in physical therapy as an aide for a couple of years, I had a few patients that would not want to use their assistive devices, and one of them actually fell in our clinic because he was being a little stubborn and did not like to use his walker. Next day he came in, he slipped and fell, and it was a big ordeal, and we felt he was embarrassed, and we just reiterate, once you use those devices, they're there for a reason. They're gonna prevent a fall. Again, watch out for your pets. And then watch for your surroundings while you're outside too. Sidewalks have those cracks from roots from trees. They're not even, like Dr. Bob was talking. So really use those assistive devices when you're outside too. Okay. Medication management. Talking to your doctor about what those medications are that are going to increase your chances for a fall, and trying to see if you can avoid those, right? That's going to help to lower your risk of falling. And then we're going to talk about overall investing in yourself, I think, okay? So investing into your physical health, mental health. There's fall prevention programs that we have from Healthy Aging Association that are great. Invest into yourself too by, um, overcoming that fear of falling if you're really scared of falling, and also invest into yourself with getting things like fall prevention accessories installed to your house. That way you have all the tools you need to maintain your independence as long as possible. That's really the biggest goal here. Prevent falls, keep that independence, and overall improve and keep yourself healthy and safe. So now I'm just going to go into a little bit of our programs. I know we usually go towards the end with all these programs, okay? The Dignity at Home Fall Prevention Program is a program that I'm the program coordinator for. We provide in-home environmental safe assessments. We give you some fall prevention education and injury prevention accessories that are, we give them to qualified individuals that are 60 and up or disabled. And this is all in Stanislaus County. The biggest thing, it comes at no cost for anybody. Anybody that qualifies over 60 and their income qualifies, you qualify, those installations are at no cost. For me to come out and do the assessment, it's no cost. Okay. So it's a very good program. A couple of stats here just to show you what it takes. It's just a one-person household would be an income of $3,300 or less a month. It's a little high. So if you're on if you have Social Security and you're over 60 and you use a walker, you're pretty much gonna qualify. Okay. If this sounds interested to you, please give a call to the senior information line. That's the first start of the process for this. The number is right here on the bottom of the screen underneath the Dignity at Home logo. It's 209-558-8698. If you have more questions, you can always call our office at 209-525-4670. You'll see that number towards the end too, so don't worry. It's a great program. Can't say it enough. If you think of anybody that you know in Stanislaus County, please refer them to us. Tell them to give us a call. It's a great program. It's at no cost. And you get grab bars, bath mats, shower chairs, transfer poles to get out of bed, ramps for your door. It's just an overall amazing program, and I can't say it enough. It's just use it, right? Another program that's great, I know a couple of you have probably come from just now. I just led our Young at Heart Strength Training class on Zoom, but we have classes that are in person all throughout different areas in Modesto. We have some series, we have some in Riverbank, Oakdale. We have them all over. If you're interested, give us a call. Our number again is on the bottom right here. And then you can see which one's the best fit for you in person if you would like to go in person. They're fun classes. Everybody's there for the same reason. We're all trying to stay a little active and have a good time. The Zoom class is one that I lead. I won't be leading it for the next 4 weeks, but I do love leading this class. It's great. Mondays and Wednesdays from 9:30 to 10:30. Super easy. All you need is an email, essentially, and a computer. We email you the link, click it, and you join up, and you're in the class. We do use exercise tubes. So we recommend that you get your exercise tubes from us, and they're very inexpensive, and it does help a lot. Okay, it's a great class. Okay. So something to think about. Strength training, getting these accessories installed for you at no cost, right? We also have a Tai Chi for arthritis and fall prevention. Okay, this class is happening. They still take people. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Okay, it's at St. Paul's Episcopal Church off of Oakdale Road in Modesto. I know I just butchered the name of the church. I'm sorry. That name is difficult for some reason. It's a very good class. You're doing slow motion movements, and it's really working with balance, and it helps you build that confidence and muscular strength. Very good class to do. Another big class I wanted to talk about is one that I just started to be an instructor for. This is our other Tai Chi class that just started last week. It's Tai Chi Quan, Movement for Better Balance. This class is going to be working to improve balance and physical and mental well-being. It takes parts of Tai Chi Quan, which is a type of Tai Chi, and they use different movements in different forms and put it into a fall prevention class. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2:30 to 3:30 in the afternoon. That is held here at the Stanislaus Veterans Center in Modesto. The last day to sign up and attend for this class, unfortunately, is tomorrow. If nobody else signs up tomorrow, that's this class that's set, okay? Because it is a 6-month-long class. It builds onto itself. It is a commitment, but it's a good commitment in investing for yourself. I really recommend taking this class. We're starting to pick it up a little bit more. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot with the movements, but if you stay with it, I promise it's worth it, and you'll get it. You will get it. Okay, it's a really good class. It works your mind and it works your body. Okay, it's really good. And we also have our Matter of Balance. It says virtual up here, but we do actually have it in person. We have a class that just started 2 weeks ago here in the Stanislaus Veterans Center. We should be having more classes coming up soon. So it's a really good idea to maybe get your name on our wait list. So then the next class that pops up, they'll give you a call and let you know. It's going to be 9 2-hour classes with groups that are 8 to 12. Okay. And it's mostly discussion. You do a little bit of movement and stuff and exercise too after the second session. After the third really is when you learn it. Great class. I'm also an instructor for this class. I have not had my own class yet, but I just did one yesterday to help sub in, and it's fun. You just talk, and it's really getting that mentality of, you have a little bit of a risk of falling, but you're overcoming that fear. That's the big thing, right? We're trying to overcome our fear of falling and prevent falls that way, and to not let fear of falling decrease your activity. That's the biggest thing with this one. It's a great class. Again, give us a call, get on that wait list, okay? So in a quick summary, okay, just 5 things to remember is to have that vision checked and your hearing, right? Be mindful of your medications and check with your doctor to make sure your medications aren't going to increase your chance for falling. Get fall prevention devices installed, okay? They'll reduce home hazards. They will make a difference. And that Dignity at Home fall prevention program, I'm telling you, is worth it. It's a great program, okay? Wearing proper footwear is a huge one. Wear those right shoes, okay? No slippers. And then use your assistive devices, all right? We've iterated that a whole bunch. I know you've heard it a whole bunch today, but can't say it enough. It's just, you have the tools right there if you have an assistive device. And then just the programs we have to offer, that strength training class that we have in person and on Zoom. Give us a call about those. Tai Chi and Tai Chi Quan still open. It is going to be closing down tomorrow. And if you want to join, just come on down before 2:30 and sign up. We have plenty of room in the class right now. I'm having an average of about 15 people. I think it'd be great to have even more come. A Matter of Balance is waitlisted, but get your name on that wait list because it's going to be worth it in the class. If you have a fear of falling, it's a really good class to do. Very good class to do. It's a countrywide class. It's all over the country they do this class. Young at Heart Steps. We are going to be having a steps program starting again in fall. Okay, so after summer, you'll start seeing more about that. And that is a great program too, to get you motivated just to walk around your neighborhood. And then last but not least, the Dignity at Home Fall Prevention Program, which I'm coordinator of. If you have any questions about that class after this, that program after this, don't hesitate to ask me, okay? So with that, we are done for our Zoom meeting today, pretty much. If you have any questions, you can ask me some at the end. Our next class is going to be June 29th at 11 a.m. on Zoom from the comfort of your home again, okay? We're going to be talking about reducing your fear of falling. So this week, talking about those mentality things, right? Turning a negative thought into a positive thought or something like that, about mentally being confident to not fall. Okay, so we will not be having Dr. Bob for next month. He comes every other month. That should have not been on this slide. But next month it will be just me pretty much speaking. I hope you all will come for next month. And that really does conclude our Zoom meeting for this morning. If anybody wants to hang out and have some questions for me, go ahead and shoot. Okay, I'll be hanging out here for about 5-10 more minutes tops. I hope you all learned some stuff from this class today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I'll go ahead and stop the recording as well.